But first, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it, y'all, because Stephen A is saying a whole bunch of BS again. All right, what's up, people? It's your boy AT2. And again, like I said in the intro, Stephen A. Smith is talking some BS. But we're going to go ahead and break it down here. And this is his official response to all the backlash that he's been getting for talking about Jasmine Crockett. Because, again, Stephen A. Smith, listen, I don't like his commentary when he talks about sports, but I definitely do not like his commentary when he's talking about politics. But let's go ahead and hear him out, right?
Nonsense that I've heard over the last few days is why it can get exhausting, because nothing frustrates me more than when people have the truth at their disposal and they choose maybe not lie, maybe not even embellish, but allow their emotions to usurp facts, and all of a sudden want to use that as an excuse to label me as being something and doing something I'm neither not nor have I done, which in this case is disrespecting Representative Crockett out of Texas, who, by the way, has had an invite to this show for weeks, by the way. Governors Josh Shapiro and Spencer Cox came on this show. Senator Lindsey Graham came on this show. Joe Manchin, now retired, came on this show. Bill O'Reilly, Bill Maher came on this show, okay? And more coming. And she has an invite. And AOC has an invite. Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic House Leader, he just was on this show.
But I just want to say something. Who are you for her to want to go on your show? Because let's be honest about something. It was talked about heavily, like about Kamala Harris not going on Joe Rogan's show and all that stuff, right? Honestly, don't think it would make a difference. And if you look at Stephen A's crowd, because he's such a grifter, they would be eating her up in the comment section. So it's all like she literally would be going into enemy territory. But you've been dogging her this whole time. Why would she go on your channel? Like, for what? It wouldn't be a benefit to her. And again, she's more specifically targeting people in Texas, in Dallas area, because that's her district. Going on Stephen A. Smith is not really going to help her profile unless she was running for higher office, right?
I've invited Jasmine Crockett. I have nothing but respect for her. I just disagree on what she's making headlines for, because I think it's counterproductive to the ultimate goal. But yet, here we are, and the word disrespect comes in, and people try to engage with words, you know, like disrespect and implying misogyny and all of this other nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Can we be grown-ups and deal with what the real issue is involving what I said? Willie D, Roland Martin, Bakari Sellers, and Angela Rye, who I have profound respect for. I mean, the list goes on and on with all of these people. I don't have their names.
So you see here, it says Stephen A. Smith taking shots that Jasmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America, and instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a black woman who's out here putting in real work. And you guys can read for it, but Willie D was right. I love what Willie D was saying, because again, Stephen A. Smith doesn't really care about what he's talking about, trying to inform the people. He's just trying to do the same that he does with sports, just do all that loud talking and and it's all like, dude, you're just saying shit that you hear. He doesn't do no research. And Stephen A. Smith will say, oh, I don't know. Like when you question him about something, because he doesn't know. That's the problem. You're just another vessel in blackface, literally just spread misinformation. That's the problem.
In front of me to my producer that texted to me. I don't have my phone on me right now, so I apologize for not having those names in front of me. But what are we talking about? How's it disrespectful to say what I said? Could you just disagree? Could we just say, yo, Stephen A., I disagree with you. Here's why. We got Willie D. Put up that quote, please. He's putting out quotes or text or tweets about me. Let's see that again. Stephen A. Smith taking shots at Jasmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America, and instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a black woman who's out here putting in real work. That ain't critique, that's betrayal. Jasmine Crockett ain't the problem. She's the kind of woman who walks into rooms full of snakes and makes the snakes flinch. Meanwhile, Stephen's showing what happens when a paycheck gets louder than the principal. That's sucker shit, straight up, end quote. Wow, Willie D.
So I knew Stephen A. Smith read it a little later in the show, but I wanted to go ahead and just read that one part. But yeah, right. He's doing it for a check. This shit right here, Stephen A. Smith doesn't care about talking about, oh yeah, you're supposed to be working for the American people, blah, blah, blah. Stephen A. Smith got 100 million reasons why he don't give a damn about any of this. This is just content to him. He making his money.
You sure are uplifting. I mean, I got to be touched. That was inspirational. Really, that really, really was. That was inspirational. I'm doing sucker shit. That's what you call inspirational? That's what you call uplifting? Really? Now, I haven't heard everything that Roland Martin said, D.L. Hughley had to say, and all the other names that I mentioned, but I'm sure it's along the same lines. Now, but respect, first of all, I'm going to be very, very careful about anything that I say about Roland Martin because he's a friend. I'm going to be careful about anything that I say about D.L. Hughley because I have respect for that man. We've spoken a few months ago. I got nothing but love for him. I am concerned about him not making people laugh and smile as much anymore as he used to because he's more of an activist now than a comedian, but that's a choice and that's his right. And nothing but love for him and respect.
But it's okay for you to run your mouth? What do you consider yourself? Talking about he's an activist. I think D.L. Hughley is somebody who understands it. He gets it. And also shout out to D.L. Hughley because when I went to Kamala Harris's book tour, he was the moderator for both shows. There was a 3 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. I went to the 6 o'clock one, and he was the moderator for both. And he was talking about how he was one of the people when Kamala first ran spreading misinformation, and he apologized to her on the stage. But I already knew he apologized because I actually read her book. So D.L. Hughley is somebody who, if he gets it wrong, he'll come out and apologize and he'll say the right thing. Stephen A. Smith doesn't care about that at all. He doesn't give a damn.
And anybody else too. My issue with Bakari Sellers is how he talked about me without ever speaking out or reaching out because you don't like a position that I took before or whatever, but you want to come on and sell your book after. See, I don't play that nonsense. I don't like that. Disagree with what I said. Say why.
That's some sucker shit right there.
Nonsense. Got nothing but respect. Willie D got over 1 million subscribers. Man, props to you. Doing your thing. Wishing you nothing but the best. Not getting into all that nonsense. But let's deal with what I was saying, please. Can we do that? Can we be real? So let's take it. Let's take it back. Let's look at the resume of Jasmine Crockett, 30th Congressional District. By the way, the two senators that represent Texas is Senator John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, both Republicans. I'm so surprised. Okay. So you got them in Texas and they're doing their thing, right? What are we talking about here in terms of Jasmine Crockett's district? 750,000 North Texans.
Notice how, and I'm sorry for pausing it, but you just got to call out his BS. Notice how he said, oh, yeah, it's two Republican senators. They're doing their thing. So there's no criticism at all for Ted Cruz or John. Like, there's no criticism, especially Ted Cruz, Cancun Cruz, who every time there's a natural disaster in Texas, he up out of there. No criticism at all, Stephen A. Smith. This is a part of the grift. This is why people are calling you out, because you have nothing to say about the other side. The only time I heard you say something about them is when it came to Bad Bunny. You did defend him, but also they were eating you up in your chat. And by the way, I did speed up the video a little bit because it's like 45 minutes, so I sped it up a little bit just to let y'all know. So Stephen A. naturally talks fast, but it seems faster. That's why. Go ahead and hit that like button, damn it.
Texas's 30th Congressional District, vibrant community in the heart of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That's the area she represents as a congressional representative. Earned her BA in Business Administration from Rhodes College and a JD from the University of Houston. She's licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. So this is an accomplished, well-educated woman. Ain't nothing about her stupid. Ain't nothing about her something to dismiss or disrespect when it comes to her resume. Let's get that out of the way so as to make sure I'm not being disrespectful when we're talking about her, okay? What's her reputation? Crockett's performance in the House scored in research, and her success in delivering wins for her district is quote unquote mixed. She's active, ambitious, and visible, exceptional when it comes to fundraising. But many of her major efforts are still works in progress, bills stuck in committees, introduced but have stalled, etc., according to Congress.gov. I'm just reading. She faced similar difficulties as a state rep. The Texas legislature's sole Black freshman had big plans for her first session. She ended up mostly playing defense, according to them. And what the implication was is that while she's great at fundraising, the challenge for her was cultivating relationships in Congress. And what does that mean? Potentially going across the aisle when you don't want to. Potentially going across the aisle, okay, when it might be in the best interest of the 750,000 constituents you represent.
So I want to put this in context because he's not putting it in context. So you can go to a website called, and I would pull it up, but I'm already sharing my screen. It's called billtrack50.com, billtrack50.com. And basically for congressmen, senators, you can see what bills they have tried to pass and if they're in committee or if they've been denied or vetoed, whatever. You can see all that information. Now, here's where we put stuff into context. Jasmine Crockett has only been in Congress since 2023. 2023. I know it seems because the years go by so fast that it seems like she's been in Congress forever. No, it's only been since 2023. So she's still a junior congresswoman. Like she hasn't even had time to really do anything because when she first got into office in 2023, who had control of the House? The Republicans. So she doesn't really have a chance to really get anything through. So it's still early in her career. Again, context makes a difference, right? Because you think like, well, Jasmine Crockett, hasn't she been in Congress forever? No, it's been since 2023.
We know you're a Democrat. We know how disgusting and vile you find the president to be. You've told us on more than one occasion. What I was saying was, where's that going to get you when you're so willing and so apt to verbalize it the way that you choose to verbalize it? How is that going to be productive to your constituents? You have every right to feel the way that you feel about him. You have every right to do everything that you can to vote him out of office, or in his case, the people that are under him, the J.D. Vances of the world, a Marco Rubio of the world, a Pam Bondi, a Kash Patel, and others. You have every right. You should be doing everything you can to win the midterm. But what I'm saying is, where is her rhetoric going to get her and the people she represents in the 30th Congressional District in Texas? What am I talking about? To my producers, could y'all play the clip when she's talking about the president as an enemy of the United States? Could she play that, please?
Your reaction to his appointment?
He needs to go. I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations to the white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion?
No, it doesn't change my opinion.
So that's the first clip. There's a president of the United States that you're calling a white supremacist, and you're saying that the people who work under him are that as well, while you're in the government needing assistance from that administration to get things done for your constituency and beyond. Okay, that's clip number one. Play clip number two, please. A full-fledged criminal. Play that, please.
Not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
So you care about facts, meaning the Democrats and the Republicans don't. Okay. That's another clip. And by the way, full-fledged criminal and thug. Those were.
So I want to go ahead and put a few things in context. So what they were talking about was this guy, Thomas Myers, who Trump had fired. He was working on the campaign in 2024. He was caught up in some extremist group, whatnot. He got fired. Okay. But let's not pretend like Trump doesn't hang around Steve Bannon. Let's not pretend like Trump doesn't have Stephen Miller in his cabinet. Let's not pretend that Trump personal advisor is Laura Loomer. Like, you're connected. If you're connected to white supremacists, then, or racist people, then yeah, you have to either agree with them or be racist yourself. Maybe not white supremacist, if we don't want to say that word, but Stephen A, like, let's not pretend. Come on now. And Laura Loomer, funny that I've mentioned Laura Loomer, remember, that's the one that was talking about Jasmine Crockett calling her ghetto and stuff like that, and she looked like a whole alien. How dare you talk about Jasmine Crockett, who's actually 10 years older than you, but you look older than her? Oh yeah, we going there. Y'all, I thought I had a picture over here. I ain't got a picture ready for y'all. I apologize, but look up Laura Loomer. All right, let's let him continue in whatever other BS he got to say. And thank you guys for hitting that like button and supporting. And also, if y'all want to show me love and support the channel even further, you can drop $1 or $2 in the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. You don't have to, just hit that like.
How about this one, where she called the president a piece of shit? Play it.
Because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, yes, he is. He is. He is.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. That's what she said. That's the third one. There's another one here where she's talking about how the GOP doesn't care about facts, but the Democrats do. You just heard that. There was also another one where she called him again a white supremacist. But it didn't just stop there. She went to her own governor of the state of Texas, who's in a wheelchair, by the way. Keep that in mind. And listen to what she said about him.
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Governor Hot Wheels. And the only thing that is hot about him is that he's a hot ass mess. And that's going to serve 750,000 constituency in the 30th district.
Listen, people who are disabled don't even like Greg Abbott. You want to know why? Because he cut $607 million in Medicare for his state, which affects people with disabilities. He does not give a damn. And mind you, people are like, oh, you can't shame him because he's in a chair, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's okay for him to fat shame people like he did the governor of Illinois, Pritzker. It's okay for him to do that.
Milwaukee Brewers, no wonder he's a massive failure. No wonder. Did you see what Pete Hegseth said? He said that Pritzker needs to stop complaining and do some push-ups.
You can always count on the Secretary of War to nail this right on the top of with the hammer. He's always he knows.
Notice he didn't say anything about that. Or why don't we talk about when Trump disrespected Jasmine Crockett and AOC? Let's listen to this, because I think Stephen A has a one-track mind, or he's just grifting, but has a one-track mind, like not showing both sides. You're acting like this man has said wonderful things about Jasmine Crockett.
No leader. Nobody knows who the leader is. I look at people with very low IQs like Crockett, this woman Crockett. I never met her, but she's a low IQ individual. I look at AOC talking about how if they want to negotiate, they can come to my office. She's not in that position to do that. And who the hell is she to say that? And then I watch Nancy Pelosi not knowing what to do. I watch their leadership.
Exactly. And he goes on further and further. But again, this is not a man that I would want to have a conversation with. And technically, she doesn't need to have a conversation with the president. She needs to have a conversation with her peers as far as other Congress people. But as far as having a conversation with Trump, she doesn't need to talk to him. For what? I wouldn't want to talk to somebody like that. Mike Johnson is really the one who holds power. And the funny thing about this is that you want to talk about how she needs to go across the other aisle. And listen, the Democrats are holding the line. And rightfully so, because let's not forget, if they don't hold the line, they are going to raise our premiums. The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, as y'all like to call it, yeah, this is what keeping your premium low because of that tax credit. If they don't sign that tax credit, then a lot of us, our premiums are going up. I mean, for my vision, it went up by 13%. Luckily, vision is only like $12 for me, so it just went up to $14, but it went up by 13%. Just imagine you're paying a premium every month of like $300, $400, $500, and so forth. 13% is a lot of money. So again, Stephen A. Smith isn't putting shit into context.
Texas. That is what I was saying. Never mind what she feels. Never mind whatever level of justification you may have towards feeling the way that you feel. When you're in her position, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was saying. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant Black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you're at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring?
But haven't people been crying about the Democrats be talking to, not worldly, but talking to articulate, too smart, like you just need to simplify things? That's what Jasmine is doing. She's simplifying it for the people. She's talking directly to the people, language that we understand.
Street verbiage to Capitol Hill, and that's going to work for you. You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins.
You don't think it has anything to do with her being an outspoken Black woman? You don't see the microaggressions? You don't see the issues with that, Stephen A. Smith? Come on now.
It's for them. And what I was saying was, I appreciate her passion, her intellect, the fact that her heart and her willingness to be courageous and all of those things are in the right place. But my God, isn't it about winning too? Ain't it about getting it done? How about positioning yourself, since Jasmine Crockett was on the record stating that we got to keep our eyes on the federal courts because the conservative federal courts are putting forth rules and regulations, policies, and judicial things that serve to benefit one side of our country, but not necessarily all sides. Well, wouldn't that mean that you'd want to become a judge? You are a lawyer by trade. You are licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. Wouldn't you be somebody that we'd want on the courts, or at least on committees, having a strong arm towards dictating who ends up on the courts, not just the Supreme Court, but federal courts throughout this country? Because that's what senators do, right? Wouldn't you want to position yourself to be able to beat a Ted Cruz or a Senator Cornyn? I'm talking about winning. I'm talking about winning.
But here's the thing. Maybe that's not Jasmine's goal. And she actually has spoken about this because people have been asking her to run for senator. She said if she can't open up the electorate to, bring in different kinds of people in and try to expand the voting base for her to even run for senator, then she won't do it if she doesn't see a pathway. So she has even said that, that's not really her goal right now, unless something opens up and she might want to. But again, you're basically telling her, first he's saying that she's not doing a good job. And now you're saying, oh, run for senator. Like, what is it? Or be a judge. Like, what do you want her to do?
Listen, I voted for Kamala Harris. And I voted for her because I said, even though I wasn't fond of her as a candidate, I certainly thought that she would be more willing to work across the aisle and work with more congressional and Senate representatives than he would. I certainly felt like we wouldn't be hearing words like authoritarianism and dictators and stuff like that. I knew that. So I get where you're coming from. But when you talk about we're honest, they're not. Were you honest when you chose Hillary and you shoved aside Bernie Sanders as a party? Were you honest when you chose Biden and you shoved aside everybody else because it was his turn? Were you honest when you bypassed a primary and made sure to ensure that Kamala Harris was the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States when all of you knew, you knew that Biden was finished. You knew he had no business staying in the presidency. You knew that you could have influenced things in a way that would have forced him out. We would have had a primary and the best candidate for the job.
Here's the thing. I could dispute this, but again, you're talking about Jasmine Crockett, but then you're switching in about the Democrats overall. That has nothing to do with everybody critiquing you for going after Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, go at the Democratic Party. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But again, you're getting backlash for Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett had nothing to do with 2016. Jasmine Crockett has nothing to do with whether or not Joe Biden should have ran or not. That wasn't her responsibility. That wasn't her job. Mind you, like we said, she just got into office in 2023. So you think that Jasmine Crockett could have made those? Stephen A., you playing stupid. Or are you just stupid? Let's just ask that question.
Would have been running against Trump this past, last November. You knew that. But like 2016, like 2020, as was the case in 2024, and unlike the Republicans, the conservatives, the elite chose our candidate. The people were bypassed on the Democratic side of the aisle. You circumvented your way as a party around the election process, and you have the audacity to talk about how others are a threat to democracy. Where's the consistency? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me.
Whether or not Joe Biden should have ran or not has nothing to do with what's happening now. And I think this is also what irritates me, is that we always want to talk about the what ifs and this should have been done, the shoulda, woulda, coulda. The shoulda, woulda, coulda don't matter now. Like, we need to be thinking about, okay, what's the next plan? What is our next goal? Like, what are we going to do? All that, oh, you should have did this and that shit don't matter. Who cares? I'm sorry to say it, but who cares? We need to be thinking about the future.
Me that the Democratic Party hasn't catered to elites every bit as much as they've accused Republicans of doing all of these years over the last 3 elections. Tell me that they said we listening to the people and we're not just doing what we want to do because we're the one that's control the party and we'll manipulate them. Tell me that they haven't gotten folks, not specifically y'all, but folks like y'all, to sit up there and label anybody like me or others who would dare question the establishment and how things go down and say, yo, he a sellout. Yo, he don't care. What's up, Willie D? What's up? We want to talk policy? I didn't call you a name. I didn't disrespect you. I didn't diminish you, your intellect, your soul, your heart, your conscience, and whether or not it was in the right place. I'm just talking facts, bro. You in your 50s too, if not older. You're a grown-ass man. What's up? That's all I mean.
Now, when LeBron James had checked him at the game, he didn't have this kind of energy. So again, Stephen A. Smith does all this hollering and screaming, but you don't be having that same energy in person. Like, come on now, you doing too much. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here, but let me know if you would like me to review the rest of the video for a part 2, because I could go on and on, but it's already a long video, y'all. It's frustrating. I already got a headache. It's like right in here. The headache is right here just because of the bullshit we've been listening to, y'all. But of course, like always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Again, we are at 80K subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate everybody just showing me so much love. And I've been loved doing reaction videos and talking about politics. It's a passion of mine. So I appreciate y'all been coming along this journey with me. Shout out to everyone who has congratulated me. Also, anybody who decided to bless me, I appreciate you with Cash App, PayPal, or super thanks. You can also do that as well, too. I love y'all. Be safe, but we out of here, y'all. And again, Stephen A. Smith, get it together. We out. Deuce.